Throughout history, the most powerful men in the world have felt an unexplainable attraction to one single place. The Great Pyramid of Giza. Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Napoleon Bonaparte. Even leaders of the 20th century. All shared the same desire. To spend a night inside the pyramid. But why? What were they really searching for? Built more than 4,500 years ago, the Pyramid of Khufu was far more than a tomb. For the ancient Egyptians, it was a doorway between the world of men and the realm of the gods. Its perfect proportions, aligned with the stars and the magnetic north, have fascinated humankind for millennia. And so a belief was born that sleeping inside the Great Pyramid could reveal the destiny of those who dared to do it. The first was Alexander the Great. In the 4th century before Christ, he sought to confirm that he was the son of the god Ammonius Ra. It is said he spent the night in a secret chamber, and at dawn, he emerged convinced of his divine origin. Centuries later, Julius Caesar, together with Cleopatra, visited the pyramids. Some later Arabic chroniclers claimed he watched the stars from within, trying to understand time and eternity. Perhaps it never happened, but the idea remained. The pyramid as a mirror of destiny. In 1799, Napoleon Bonaparte arrived in Giza during his Egyptian campaign. He was 30 years old, driven by boundless ambition. That night, he made an unusual request: to spend the night alone inside the Great Pyramid. His secretary, Bourrienne, wrote that Napoleon entered with a lamp and a compass. The officers waited outside. Hours later, the general emerged, pale and silent. One of his men asked, "What did you see inside, sir?" Napoleon simply replied, "Even if I told you, you wouldn't believe me." He never spoke of it again. Some believe he had a prophetic vision, that he saw himself crowned emperor and defeated years later. Others think he suffered a nervous breakdown, overwhelmed by the darkness and silence. But there is another theory. Napoleon, a member of Masonic circles, may have sought an initiatory experience, a rite of transformation. In Masonic symbolism, the pyramid represents enlightenment, the passage from ordinary man to the chosen one. Decades later, others tried to follow in his footsteps. The British philosopher Paul Brunton, in the 1930s, slept in the king's chamber. He wrote that an invisible presence surrounded him and filled his mind with visions. It is said that Winston Churchill also did so, though it was never confirmed. The Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie meditated inside in the 1950s, as a spiritual gesture toward his African ancestors. Today, spending a night there is forbidden. But the legend lives on. Sleeping inside the Great Pyramid is not an act of curiosity. It is a symbol of rebirth, of crossing the line between the human and the eternal. All who have attempted it believe that within those silent stones lie answers revealed only in darkness. Napoleon entered the pyramid as an ambitious general, and left convinced that destiny had chosen him. Years later, in exile on St. Helena, he often remembered Egypt. Some say that on that night, in the shadows of the pyramid, he did not find the gods, but the reflection of his own fate.